Hello and welcome back to the Kind of Athletic Podcast. It is episode 28.
Heck yeah.
We took a week off. I think a much needed week off. Lots has kind of happened. We're just busy.
Yes.
Just life kind
Very
of
much
coming at
so.
us with my coaching. Sam's doing some hunting and some other things with school and teaching, and it's just been a lot. And I think this is our second break in 28 episodes, so 28 straight weeks or whatever,
Like
30
7
straight
months
weeks.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 breaks I think is fair. So
Yeah.
we got a lot to talk about. So obviously, baseball ended. We are going to talk with Nick. We're going to talk about the Huskies and the Cougars. We're going to talk about the Seahawks. We have a top 10 list for you guys this week. We also are going to talk NASCAR as we're coming up on the championship.
Mm-hmm.
But first, into the kind of Pacific Northwest where we typically try to kind of cover our own things. Again, we missed a week, so we have 2 weeks of Husky football. Bleh. 1 week of 1 week of Wazoo.
Yeah.
So we'll go Wazoo first because it was 2 weeks ago and a little bit easier to cover because the Huskies are kind of
Dude, I don't know what the
they're
Huskies
staying
are, to be
alive, but
honest
not
with
quite.
you.
So we'll go Cougs first. They had a big comeback win against San Diego State to keep their one loss season alive.
Yeah.
11-win season alive. It should be noted that I don't think it was a good game.
See, the thing that's crazy is Mateer actually had a really good game.
Mateer had 4 touchdowns altogether.
Yeah.
2 rushing, 2 throwing.
But when you look at I don't know what happened.
The defense,
They didn't give up that many points.
No. They just
didn't-
got caught off guard when the game started,
Yeah.
it felt like.
And San Diego State is not a good team.
No, San Diego State, and
So-
that's the scary thing for me is obviously with the Cougs. So right now they're 21 in the country. They finally
Oh,
have
yeah,
been
yeah,
ranked.
they are. Yeah. I looked earlier.
We play nobody to end the season. We
No.
play a 2-6 Utah State, a 3-6 New Mexico, a 4-4 as of right now Oregon State, which should be an okay game.
I think that's
Oregon
going to be their
State's
best game.
100%.
Wyoming,
and then
I
a
think.
2-7 Wyoming.
Yeah.
If you can't get past these guys, I don't want to go to the. I mean, it'd be fun. Be like, oh yeah, we're in the top 12. We're in this weird conference, a weird team
Yeah.
that could be super fun. But we will get demolished.
Yeah, if you can barely beat San Diego State going up against
That's what I
Alabama
mean.
or whoever it's going to
it would
be, it's not going to be pretty.
And it would be
So-
different to me if it was okay, yeah, Hawaii 42-10. That's fine.
That's how you should win those games.
Yeah, Fresno
but-
State 25-17. Fresno State's not bad. They are, I don't know if they are now. They were 3-3 at the time. They are now overall 5-4. So you should be
Not
winning
terrible,
that by a
but-
little bit more. The
Yeah.
Boise State game, obviously, we talked about that. San Jose State, they are now 5-3, same type of record. The UW
Yeah.
is obviously. I think UW and Texas Tech are good wins no matter what. Texas Tech
Yeah.
obviously just came off of
I
a
think
huge
so.
win, upsetting number 11 Iowa State by 1. Huge win for them there. They are 6-2, 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some benefits to those, but the other games like the San Jose, Fresno State, Hawaii, San Diego State should all be 20-point wins.
I would
3
say
touchdowns would be what I'd say.
convincing, yeah, I would say.
And they're not. So it's
Yeah.
are we just playing to the level of the team? So if Alabama shows up, are we just going to somehow play Alabama football?
Well, I mean, at the
don't know.
time, though, with just thinking about the Apple Cup, I mean, not that the Huskies are having a good season now, but they
Yeah.
were, at the time.
Sure.
And so, they beat a pretty good team
Yeah.
in the Huskies at the time. And then with Boise, they just had those mistakes, but they still played good enough that I think looking back,
Boise's the one game you could get if you got
they
to
just
the top
made
12.
too many mistakes.
Yeah, they shot themselves.
But
Boise State's probably going to be the worst out of the top. I mean,
they're going to be up there.
They've released
so.
the top 12 a million different times, and I just don't know if that is the way that we're going to be able to look at it and be going. Right now, you have number 1 Oregon, Georgia, Miami, BYU are your top 4. Crazy to think BYU's that
That
good.
is kind of wild.
They're number 4. Then Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Tennessee, Indiana, Notre Dame, Alabama, Boise State. Boise State is one of these things doesn't look like the other.
That is crazy, yeah.
And I'm all for it. I want Boise State to do good. They're Pacific Northwest, kind of sort of team. But all those other teams, Indiana's a weird one to be in there, but they've had a good year. Miami's not really convincing. The Cougs don't belong in there. Right now.
That's a different caliber of team.
So, and I don't want to say that. I would love us to go. I think it'd be fun. I think we'd get destroyed, but I would still probably end up going.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cougs really didn't... Their defense was not really ready to go. It didn't seem like they did have the one pick that was obviously a
I think
game
it was
changer.
Tariq somebody.
It was Tyson Durant. I believe
that was a different game. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the week before. It was Tyson Durant, and then there was also Gusta.
Oh no, it was Tariq.
Did he have one?
Yeah, this game.
Oh, it was Tariq.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is actually who I'm looking at. I'm just saying the wrong person. But
that was kind of, if I was looking at it right, that was, they scored a touchdown on that drive. Then so that was like
it was a game changer, 100%. And there was just some interesting calls, and that thing like I've said with Jake Dicker is, I think he's a good coach. I think he's got all the potential in the world still. But I think his biggest problem has still been the fact that he doesn't adjust well. Like if what we're doing is not working, we're still gonna do it. And it's like no, you gotta have a backup plan. Like what are we gonna do?
Yeah, like you're running the ball and it's clearly not running. You need to start passing.
And everyone's now different. QB spying Mateer, so he can't run, which is part of the offense. So it's like okay, but now you have to figure out something else. Okay, does that mean putting someone into the flats? Does that mean having a late whoever it is, your one of the running backs, waiting and then going out? I don't know. So. They look fine. I think they'll honestly win out this season. I think the Oregon State game is the only one that's tough.
Yeah.
I think at 11-1, to be honest, I think they'll be like, they're going to end the year at like 14. And they're going to be just on the outside. It obviously depends on what happens on the top half of the, if Ohio State loses 3 games, well, they're not going to be, it's like, with everything going on this year, it's been kind of crazy. Yeah. So it'll be kind of weird, but it'll be fun. But going into another kind of just weird team this year.
Indiana.
Well, okay, yeah, Indiana is a weird team. Indiana, that game for the UW was weird because the first half...
They were in it.
The first half, they looked perfectly fine.
They were fine.
And then the second half, it was like Indiana was like, oh yeah, football. And the UW was like, football? And it was like, what are we doing? Because Will Rogers wasn't bad. I mean,
no, he had 2 picks. One intercept. Oh yeah, he had 2
picks.
This game,
but the
pick six is what kind of sucked.
Yeah, the pick
six. It was the first quarter,
so it was wind out of the sail right away.
Yeah, it immediately just took him down a notch.
The one thing I don't particularly listen to a lot of Husky games for obvious reasons. I listened to this game on the radio driving somewhere. UW announcers are awful.
Atrocious.
They are just so... Oh, if the ref wouldn't have flown the flag there, the UW would have gotten a first down. Well, yeah, okay, but don't have a hold. Like, I was like, I get it. Like, I get being a fan of your team, but also, like, realize the fact that your team sucks this year. Like, they're not where they should be. But yeah, the second half, Indiana just came alive. Tavin Jackson is his name.
Yeah.
Not a great game.
No, he had
124 yards and a
but only
19
attempts, so it's not like he wasn't.
Yeah, I think they're a run-heavy team, and obviously Justice Ellison,
oh yeah,
or whatever, 123 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he did pretty solid.
He's just a solid player.
Yeah, 29 carries, so they were definitely feeding him the ball.
I definitely think the UW they could have won this game. I don't think they should have.
It'd have been a huge upset too.
It would have been a great upset, and it would have been a huge momentum boost for them because. Obviously, this last week they played USC, big rivalry game at home. USC has been struggling again, just like UW.
Continue to struggle.
Yeah, exactly. And that game, honestly, it kind of goes the other way to me. Is the UW probably shouldn't have won this game?
They played good enough to
Miller
win.
Moss literally was just like, yeah, here's the ball 3 times, and just threw it straight to him.
Not good at all. Rogers did have a better game.
Rogers had a much better game with 260
Not
plus
great,
yards.
But better.
It's a good thing he's a one and done because I think is it Denard Williams
Desmond.
I
can
Williams
never
Jr.
pronounce
or whatever.
That. Yes,
he's gonna be. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he transferred out after this year. Like I think he's got that kind of potential where if there's a team like I don't know Ohio State. Even the big teams, like if they're looking at it and they have a senior and they're like, "Hey, you can come here and be a chance starter at this massive school, or you can stay at UW." Now, obviously, I think UW they have some prestigiousness to their history.
They're still a good school. They just
they're
coming off a really good season, and everything they do this year is.
Well, it was such a weird because it was kind of like they did like literally were like at the very bottom because they. Had a winless season, and then they kind of have been like, and then kind of doing like a this, and then it was literally just like a boom to the top, and now they're right back. This is kind of the Huskies I have remembered for the past decade.
Yeah, just like
5, 6, 7 wins. never, they won the Pac-12 a couple times with 9-10 wins, but Oregon and like USC have kind of always been, and Stanford for a long time were kind of the main guys, and Utah, I guess. I always forget Utah was in our conference. But this is a big win. I did not think this would happen. Now at 5 wins, I genuinely think they should be a bowl team with UCLA.
They really
I think
could.
They should be able to get
they
UCLA.
Have a good chance.
I don't think they win either of their road games going to Penn State and then to
Absolutely
Oregon.
Not. No.
Oregon is going to obliterate that. I think
it might
Oregon,
be a fun game to watch just for some
It will
offense.
be. It's a rivalry game, but I think Oregon will actually be like... I mean, it's so funny because someone was talking about why we didn't want the Yankees to win as Mariners fans.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, because all of the biggest games the Mariners have played, really besides the Cleveland series in 2001, I think, have been against the Yankees, and we lost them all. So we're like, oh, we hate the Yankees. Screw the Yankees. Yeah. The Yankees don't even know we exist. We're like a pimple on their back. They don't. They're like, where's Boston? We don't even care about us.
They get good players from us every once in a while.
UW for the longest time was really like a UW USC rivalry. Oregon was literally just this random little school in the middle of the forest, and then they got Nike, and then all this blah blah blah. Everyone knows what happened. Now Oregon is like a thorn in their side that they can't get rid of. I just think this year, especially after last year, I mean, I know that the Oregon really probably should have won both games, especially the one in Seattle when they did not kick 2 field goals for only God knows.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was so dumb. I think Oregon, if I was a betting person, I think I would put Oregon plus 30. I genuinely think Oregon is just going to, they will run the score up to 150 if they can.
Yeah, it'd be impressive.
It would be. I think that'll be bad. But anyway, UCLA obviously is coming off of a couple wins. They beat Rutgers. They beat Nebraska. So I don't know if that's and then they play Iowa at home, and then again traveling from Penn State back home to being
they screwed
UCLA
there,
up to Seattle. Yeah, it's going to be helpful. So I don't know. I think they should make a bowl game, but I think it'll be a 6-win season, which is pitiful. It's not as bad as Florida State. We can talk about them later.
They were
Holy smokes, they're 1-8. It's like the worst start as in 9 weeks or whatever.
Oh, for a ranked team,
for an AP top 10 preseason ranked team.
Yeah, that was bad,
terrible. So, do I think that the UW will make it? Yes. Do I want them to? No. I also wouldn't be shocked if they didn't.
I think they have a good chance to, but they're not going to beat Oregon. And UCLA is the only game that have a chance.
And they can't beat Penn State. Penn State also, and I think they're just coming off. Are they coming off of a loss?
I think they'd have more chance if it was home.
Yeah, but Penn State just lost to
Penn State. Yeah. I don't see it.
It's a whiteout, and if people don't know what a whiteout is, especially like being up here in the Northwest, a whiteout is basically when everyone wears white. And it's like the most terrifying thing in the history of the world, and Penn State fans literally will die for their football team. Like, it's insane. They're also coming off a loss, so they need a bounce-back win. They'll be hungry after the Ohio State game. But it'll be interesting. I mean, just kind of crazy with some football. And then, obviously, like Boise State, we said we kind of try to do a little bit. They're just kind of rolling. I wouldn't say that they look bad. But, again, they don't really have anyone else to play. They play Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, and then Oregon State. They literally have, like, the Cougs. I think they have the same besides San Jose, and we play Utah State or something like that. It's just the G&T.
He's up to 1,525 yards and 20 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's the Heisman. It's just fun to watch. And then
he's ridiculous.
They're number 12, and so if they win out and say they are the same way the Cougs, they go 11-1. You would think that they're pretty much a lock, obviously, for the playoffs.
It should be. They're going to be on the outskirts,
I just don't know.
For sure.
They're
number 12 right now.
Yeah.
So.
And if they keep winning, obviously, there'll be teams in front of them that are going to, there'll be mistakes and stuff that'll happen with whatever. People have to play each other.
Yeah.
They're like the Cougs to me, kind of. Not like, I think Boise State's better than the Cougs, but I think it's one of those things where it's, what else do the Cougs have Mateer and these guys have J&T?
Yeah.
I think what else does Boise State's defense is
their
fine.
quarterback's not very good.
They almost obviously beat Oregon, but Oregon literally decided to cold start the entire full first 3 weeks. So that everyone thought they were going to lose every game, and they didn't. But I don't know how I feel about Boise State. I want them to do well. I think it'd be fun, but I just don't.
I think if they didn't have G&T, this wouldn't be a conversation.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't have a win this year. Yeah. Like that. That's. I mean, he has been literally the one bright spark. And it'll be interesting. Like next year, he will be gone. He's going to get drafted. He'll be a first-round pick.
He should be.
Whether it's a late first round or early first round or whatever, he will be gone. So, anyway, that is That is college football. That is the Pacific Northwest. Thanks for listening to the Kind of Athletic podcast. Please like and subscribe to all our social media platforms and make sure to come back to hear more from the Kind of Athletic podcast.